Welcome to the wackiest show of them all. Boston has entered the chat Tuesday, August 12th, here inside the Salem 5 studios. Travis Thomas, the Kasey Hudson. And we welcome you in.
If only I had a real halo.
Oh, I like that beat change right
I know.
there.
And it was perfect timing, too, because I was just about to be like, not, the halo doesn't fit, but
Nah,
yeah.
It always fits.
It doesn't.
Well, unfortunately, we'll get into why the Sox held the L last night against the Astros. Alex Bregman looked good, though. We'll get into all that.
Always does.
Plus, did you know this? Taylor Swift has a new album coming out. Woo! No, just me?
I wanted to match your energy on that one, but I'm still going back and forth on it, so.
Tough crowd.
Look, I started my morning with Sam Barber and Linkin Park.
It's true.
Probably a weird time to ask me about T Swift. Yeah. But we are excited. And then weak drums, but we got a lot of football talk coming.
We do have a lot of football.
A lot of football talk, but good stuff.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, such good stuff.
It's
so I'm
football
excited
season.
about that. Yeah.
We'll start with the Sox, though. Get in here, 617-790-0928. Because, Case, I'm going to tell you right now, I want to go back into time, a little rewind action.
Back to the beginning?
We were talking yesterday about that Padres series over the weekend. And I told you, I said, what concerns me with this Red Sox team is when they go against the heavies from the NL, it just feels like they're not on that level.
Is this a Tuesday where you're going to make me eat crow?
Yeah, kind of, on that elite level, okay? For the NL team heavies, like any of these teams could be in the World Series.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that tier of team.
Yeah.
When the Sox go against them, it doesn't go well. I was looking forward, and still am, to this series against the Astros, because when I see them go against said teams in the AL, heavies, top-tier teams that if you told me one of these, the Astros, the Mariners, one of these kind of teams is in the World Series, I would say, okay, I can see the vision. The Sox fare better against them. And last night I'm watching that game, and you know what I'm thinking? Two things. Garrett Crochet is a human after all, who knew? And then two, if this game last night were played in Fenway, the Red Sox would have won. I watched and felt, sitting at home on my couch like a fat lard butt, drinking beer, I felt home field advantage. It started with Bregman. Bregman's first at bat, he comes out there like, yay, we miss you, Alex, we love you. He hits the homer. I'm thinking they're going to start throwing beers. They're like, oh, that's okay, we love you so much. I'm like, wow, okay, great. Red Sox night. Here we go. Wrong. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Crochet starts getting touched up. Those runs start coming in. The crowd's going nuts.
Yeah.
I think it rattled them. I think it rattled the bullpen. I think all those runs coming in, it was like an onslaught, like a blitzkrieg, right?
Yeah.
So sure enough, all right, cool. Typical Red Sox, they battle back. They fight. They make it a game, and they lose. But my takeaway was like, that's home field advantage. If this game is in Fenway, I think the Red Sox win that game last night. But you got to give credit to the Astros. We talk about Fenway, we talk about the Yankees, we talk about all these home field advantages. Hell, Houston has one too. I think the crowd last night was a big factor. Do you?
I initially didn't lean towards the crowd being a factor in this one. Where I will give credit to what you're pointing out here is the fact that there has already been pointed out struggles or inconsistency on the road for this Red Sox team in a number of ways. So, I mean, maybe it chalks up to that. But look at the first two innings by Crochet initially. None of us were really sweating what was taking place there.
No.
The broadcast pointed out something that I couldn't really shake when they said that there was a number of fearless bats for the Astros. They were going after balls that typically you don't swing on. So, I think that kind of mentally messes with you. So there was a mental hurdle that I think Crochet had to kind of place for the first time this season. I can't speak to his career before that. So when you're trying to do that kind of mental hurdle, and then let's also touch back to the fact that last week or the week prior, Cora was talking about the fact that they really are kind of trying to configure the perfect schedule for Crochet. So the extra rest time, is that helpful? What does that actually look like? Would they get it back into a specific Thursday rotation? So with all of these things kind of being up in the air, and then you have these guys that are really being aggressive at the plate, I feel like there was just a number of obstacles that were kind of new faces versus it's a loud atmosphere, because I feel like they've delivered in loud atmospheres before, and they kind of had the Astros numbers previously. But to your point, that was at Fenway.
Yeah, right. And also, too, I think momentum, we don't talk about this enough. I think we do it in football because it's a week to week.
Yeah.
We don't do it with baseball with these series. I think this stuff matters, and that's why I'm so glad to have this platform that we get to like have these discussions. Because let's not forget, I bring up that Padres series. Okay, you lose that series, no shame in that. The Padres could be in the World Series, but that was a hard-fought series loss on the road, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the Astros were on the road too, taking on the Yankees. Hard-fought series win. All those games were close. They were dramatic. They win that series. Playoff implications in the AL.
Yeah.
And then they roll that in like a 401k at home against our team. So I think this stuff matters. And that's why I go back to the home field advantage. Again, Bregman, first at bat, they love him. The rest of the game, they booed him. So I'm like, yeah, like this is an engaged, this is a tough place. This is why.
But like, I don't see that shaking a guy like Bregman.
Not Bregman per se. The home field advantage took over the game. It was bigger than Bregman balled out. It didn't affect him. It was the game. I think in totality, again, if this is played at Fenway, if this series is at Fenway this weekend, we just saw this happen. They beat the hell out of the Astros. Now, they were hurt and reeling a little bit, but I do think this matters. And in the American League, what it tells me, last night felt like a playoff atmosphere. We would both agree. I will say this, in the AL right now, with everyone jockeying for position, this is why it's going to be very important. I hope the Red Sox now, for years, or for the whole season I've been saying, just get the wild card. These teams that win the division, they flame out. No, damn that. You need to have home field here because I'm telling you right now, you look at the AL, I almost am willing to bet my hard-earned money on whoever has that home field advantage in the AL is going to be the team that goes to the World Series. I don't feel that way in the National League. The best team's going to win that. I think the team who's hot and has home field advantage will come out of the American League. And it could be the Red Sox. The Astros are in the same boat as them. They're right now clinging to a division lead. They're trying to hang on to it. The Sox are trying to get the division lead, right? If the Stros come up short and the Mariners win the division, no problem. They'll be a wild card team. So the Sox and Stros are really kind of even Steven right now, big picture.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think home field advantage is going to be the X factor for one of these teams in the American League, and I hope it's the Sox.
That one I definitely can't disagree with because, of course, if you get nerdy with the numbers there, again, just their consistency on the road versus how they play at Fenway speaks for itself. And I think that having that home plug is also going to kind of be a chip mentally on this team's shoulder because then you can out-strategize a little bit better when you have that home advantage. But I do want your take because you mentioned the fact that they are very similar teams. Bring last night's game back to Fenway. What mistakes did you not see for them to be able to pull through for a win?
Well, it would just be Crochet.
Okay.
Now look, this is my opinion, but I just think it got to him. I think like once those runs started coming in, it was a mental thing. At Fenway, that doesn't happen. He's lights out the whole game.
Having your ace go 4 innings, like that's really tough.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, that's what I mean. How many times have we watched him here go complete game? Like he's not case. So I do think. Look, he would tell you that that's not what happened. My stuff wasn't working, whatever. I mean, in fact, Alex Cora talked about Garrett Crochet's struggles after this game. Let's take a listen to what the skipper said. He knows better than I do, but I do think the crowd did get to him. Cora has other ideas. Take a listen.
I think fastball command was off. He tried to come in against Correa, force him in, was out of over the plate. The cutter to Walker was supposed to be in. It was outside. Some bad luck to Pena, ground ball through the infield, ball off the end, falls. So it's one of those.
I think he struck out 4 of the first 6. Then they seemed to get really aggressive after that.
Yeah, they did a good job. I mean, putting good at bats, especially with 2 strikes. It seems like they took the humble approach instead of trying to go big. And then obviously, the sinker in the middle of the play, they hit the homer. But it's one of those. He's. We'll take a look at it, and make adjustments, and he'll be ready for the next one.
In the dugout after he comes out, sitting there talking to him, what are those conversations like right after he comes out?
Well, we saw, and what he felt about the outing, and we agree that, there was some bad luck, involved, and also didn't execute some pitches.
With the fastball, was it just fastball command? Because it was harder than usual, but also he got 0 swings and misses on it.
I think he was off. Command was off today, so that's what happened.
Okay, so there you go. Simple explanation. His command was off today. As I started the show, turns out Garrett Crochet is a human, okay? Here's a scary proposition, though, for you.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so we both admitted playoff atmosphere last night, yes? Okay, let's say that's game one. This is the issue here. Crochet is human. For the sake of this combo, he lost game one.
Right.
All right, Dustin Maye game two, Walker Buehler game three. Uh-oh. So this is what I mean. You're putting all the eggs in this guy's basket, which I get. He's a stud. But if he's off, there's not a lot of wiggle room. There's no wiggle. There is no wiggle room. None.
Yeah, and that is scary.
That's scary. It's a scary
because
proposition.
Now the weight and the expectation on the mound tonight is extremely heavy. You're talking about a Dustin Maye who's still kind of trying to configure what his game looks like with a new team, with a new pitching staff. That's going to try to find new quirks amongst his spunk. Going into this at a 6.8 record, 4.93 ERA, and I mean, he let up, 3 runs through 3 innings roughly, or 3 2/3 in his first showing.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Now, here's again, I'm going to bring it full circle. If they're at Fenway, you're not as worried. And you probably, Crochet doesn't get touched up like that. That's sort of my point. I just think it's hard to not look at a Red Sox Astros series at this point of the season and not project and start thinking about the postseason.
Right.
You have got to have these games at Fenway.
And
you got to have them at Fenway.
Yeah. That's a tough mentality to have, though, because I think we talked about this yesterday. Being able to win on the road is what's going to make you prevail in the postseason. So I know for a number of fans, we just want to see them get to the postseason, but then is that going to be enough if they're able to crawl through and get into that position? We've got the Mariners that are making a strong case in the standings as well, and I don't know how expected that was or lack thereof, because we all know how well that they did at the trade deadline.
Yeah, well, that was a key. They were aggressive at the deadline for sure. And by the way, we could see that rearing its ugly head too as we get to the postseason. We'll find out. Not all was lost, though. Alex Bregman balled out in his return to H-Town. Here he is after his game.
What was that moment like before the game and just the emotion feeling at the start?
Really cool. Yeah, really cool. Great moment. Just tried to soak it all in, and AC told me to enjoy it, and I really tried to, and it was a special moment. But
that ball goes off your bat in the first at bat. Just what's going through your mind as you round the bases?
Just pumped up, just fired up. Every time you hit a homer in the big leagues, it's pretty special. But to be able to do it first at bat back here was pretty cool moment I'll never forget.
Did you hear the boos next at bat?
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. I was hoping they would.
Did you sense the good-natured feel of it? Or?
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, why were you hoping they booed?
No, just because it's a two good teams getting after it. They want to win. You know what I mean? Both teams want to win really badly, and it's fun. It's good. It's good for the game.
I mean, hey, Case, he did his thing. Can't blame Breggy.
He did, and you can't write the script on something like that either.
Yeah.
I know that we had a fun little betting segment, and when you look at the numbers yesterday, I mean, it was written in the stars for him to get his home run.
For sure.
Upon his
We
return.
should have bet that.
Yeah. Well,
we bet something with him.
Let's not bring it up. It was trash.
I think it was the score. No, I think
job.
we hit the bet. It was like the score run, I think we went with him, didn't we?
Oh, I had 2 bases for him.
Yeah, see?
2+ bases for him. Okay, but then everything else, I mean.
Well, we don't need it. We only talk about the bets that we hit on this show. 617-790-0928. If you want to call us out for the bets we don't hit, feel free. But we'd rather hear from you for something more positive. That's all. No big deal. By the way, I just want to end the segment here. After this series is over with the Astros, Marlins for 3 games.
Yep.
O's for 2 games. All at Fenway.
Yep.
Let us all exhale. Whew.
May Boston get loud again.
Oh, may the show say amen. All right, coming up, we'll get into what's trending in the world of sports. And remember this, get the latest up to date live. We'll do it live. We've got Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of trending sports and social topics every weekday right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Catch us live at 8 a.m. on Nesson and 9 a.m. right here on Nesson Nation every Monday through Friday. Time now to get into what's trending. Here I go, Case. In the world of sports.
I'm like, are you one of those the Earth is flat people? Give me a real circle.
Like Kyrie. Sorry, we'll try this again.
Goodness.
The world. Am I still?
You're missing it, yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
Here's
Little
what's trending
Earth
in the
is
world of
flat.
sports. Taylor Swift. Woo! Revealed her new album name on her Booze podcast,
Heck
the
yeah.
New Heights podcast. Take a look.
So I wanted to show you something.
Okay, what do we got?
We got,
A briefcase,
yep,
mint green with TS
Yep.
on it.
yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
TS12. You gotta love the hype there, and of course, Twitter went off. Yager says, "My wife is awake for this, but if I was being murdered, she'd be sound asleep."
That's love. Like the fact that he's okay with that. He can die, but Tay Swift's announcement is very important.
He died so T Swift could fly.
Could live.
DraftKings,
long live.
how dare you? DraftKings had the nerve to tweet TS12 is greater than TB12. DraftKings, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. TS12 don't have no damn statue outside of Gillette.
Not yet.
Good point. John tweets Travis Kelce going on a promo tour with Taylor Swift instead of running routes with Mahomes. I mean, come on, dog. Chiefs not making the playoffs this year. John, I want whatever you're drinking.
John is not far off
What?
the realm, though.
They're not making the playoffs, Case.
No,
really.
that's not the part that I was touching up on. Don't be that dramatic. It's just Tuesday. It's just more so the fact that last year there was already some concern that, this guy was flying from continent to continent, city to city,
Saying he's not
country to
focused.
country. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a lot more extra wear and tear on the body, which coincidentally lined up with like the least sexy season Travis Kelce has had in quite some time. I don't know. I'm not trying to stir the pot here, though.
Sounds like you
'cause
are.
I think that she's about to marry into the perfect family.
This is our moment as
This is it.
Swifties
Yeah.
for the Life of a Showgirl album that's going to change the world. And you're sitting here talking to us about Travis Kelce's focus. That's his problem. This is about Swiftie world. Look, I can't wait for this album. Good for you, T Swift. Good for you. And you know what I respect the most about you? You've changed this man. He used to talk different, dress different, act different. He was different. Then you came into his life. And you know what he said? I knew you were trouble when you walked in because you changed them. Good for you, T Swift. I'm a big fan. I'm ready for them. I said from the beginning, people called me a hater. I said, this is end game for T Swift. They getting married and gonna have babies. You watch a little football singing babies.
I
You
can
watch.
totally see.
It's gonna happen.
I can totally see the whole full picture here with those.
It's gonna happen.
I just didn't like the name that they try to give them. If your
Yeah.
celebrity name is Trailer, I think we need to work a little bit harder, And then it kept taking off, and then it kept going, and then people kept tweeting it, and I just never wanted to hop off the internet more.
Yeah,
But
it's not cute.
yeah, realistically though, looking forward to what Travis Kelce does this season, and looking forward to this new.
Are they your favorite celebrity couple? Because I know it ain't Bill and Jordan.
Are they my favorite?
Yeah, they are?
They are.
I saw the wheel spinning.
Because I was thinking.
I
about
know,
other
I don't know.
couples, but,
I actually don't know any.
I don't pay that much attention.
They're my favorite by default because I don't know any damn celebrity couples. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Is them
I'm
two.
kind of old school on it, so
Yeah.
yeah. I like the support on both ends. Like when you're talking about two really big, celebrities in terms of what they're doing in their careers, I think they're very supportive of one another, which you love to see.
All right, here's some power rankings. ESPN, they've dropped these. The Patriots are ranked 18th overall in the power rankings leading up to the season.
Yep.
A lot of rankings here and what's trending. More on that in a minute. Did they get the Patriots right here, though? 18th overall. Does that feel about right for you in terms of
No.
where the No. Oh, talk to me.
Well, okay, so no and yes, because where I had
Okay.
a problem was tied with the Chicago Bears. Let's do better.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe.
love that.
Yeah, and look, no disrespect to the Bears. I know that they had a pretty decent draft as well, graded quite well. But my thing is I think you said this beforehand, kind of overlooking or looking too deep into potential.
Yeah.
Something that we've seen the Bears add some talent to their roster. We've seen the Bears fans get really excited, and then we've seen either poor coaching, poor execution, the inability to get everybody on the same page. So why would we tie them with a Patriots team
Sure.
where Vrabel is a proven coach to take a team that's kind of in the works enter his Titans era
Yeah.
and make things make sense. He doesn't need the sexiest name on the roster for things to go well. He does very well at finding the potential in players regardless of their ranking and making sure that it fits what he's trying to execute on. So that's where I kind of was like, you don't tie the Chicago Bears with the New England Patriots and then look at the resumes of the coaches
Yeah.
and the ability to kind of see how they're going to orchestrate their team.
No, you're right. I mean, look, I just went a little further than just the Bears. The Cardinals are ranked ahead of them. The Raiders are ranked ahead of them. It's like, come on. Like,
Cardinals had some surprising wins last year, so I can kind of see where they edge out just a little bit. And I mean, as long as they still kind of have that 1-2 punch with their tight end, not to go back to the tight end like I always happen to do, but like they had the ability to kind of expose some teams unexpectedly last year.
let me ask you this then. Let me rephrase.
Rephrase.
Do you trust Drake Maye more than Kyler Murray? Because I damn sure do. Now, Kyler is empty calories. He's going to give me stats, but they don't win enough games. You talk about some of the games, like some of the upsets. They didn't win the games they were supposed to. They missed the damn layups.
Yeah.
Because Kyler's not a leader, is where I'm going here.
Okay.
I already, in year 2 of Drake Maye, I've seen Drake Maye in an S show around him. Protection,
Very true.
weaponry, coaching. It didn't exist, okay?
Yeah.
And he still showed me flashes of leadership, of, oh, this kid belongs, he can play. And now you have the structure around him, so we're expecting big things, you and I, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kyler Murray, how many coaches has he run through? How much talent has he had since he's been in the league? We have a larger sample size. What has he won? He hasn't won anything.
Yeah.
I can't, you can't trust him to not play video games and watch game tape. Like, I'm out on the card. I think a lot of these teams, Casey, Bears you brought up, Cardinals, Raiders, ahead of the Patriots on this list, it's like potential. It's like, oh, well, they have talent here and talent there, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
The Patriots, to even be in that same class with these teams with all the potential on paper, tells me that someone at ESPN that did this knows, okay, they don't have the talent, but Drake Maye, Mike Vrabel, they're cooking with gas there,
Yeah.
so they're projecting out. I just don't, some of this stuff is like projecting, right? Like, you think the Bears are going to be good. You think this is a year for the Cardinals. You think Pete Carroll and Geno really are going to work in Vegas. I think, look, honestly, the Patriots should be ahead of all these teams. They should be closer to like 15, 14 range.
I don't disagree with
view.
them jumping the Bears and the Cardinals. I'm just speaking to the fact of why the Cardinals maybe kind
there.
of got better look. But like, you're totally right about the buy-in being better versus some of these teams that we've seen crash out, and where we're going to see the personalities align on a Raiders team or on a Cardinals team moving forward. Cardinals did lose some guys when it comes to their offensive line as well.
Sure.
Pete Carroll, I got a lot of respect for the guy.
I do
so
too.
I don't know if I'll make the full jump over the Raiders quite yet. They have a dynamic running back themselves. Something
They do.
that we thought would potentially land here or wanted to land here.
Praying to the football gods.
But we got my guy.
I'm cool with Will Campbell, and I'm cool with Travion Henderson, of course. Okay, how about this? No UCF Knights here. Sorry, Case, but the AP released the top 25 preseason rankings poll. Texas is number 1 for the first time in school history, which is shocking to me that Texas, the mighty Longhorns, for the first time in the AP preseason poll, number 1 ranked.
All right.
By the way, I'm looking at this top 10. It is so many quarterbacks. Manning, obviously, for Texas. Allard, Penn State, Klubnik, Clemson, Nussmeier, LSU, top 10. Carson Beck, now with Miami. A lot of quarterbacks in college. Were you shocked to see Texas number 1 with their Manning?
I was a little surprised, but I think that the expectation isn't far off from what we did see Manning deliver when Quinn Ewers went out with injury. I mean, you really weren't expecting much from this guy. And you're talking about a defense that kind of led up in the second quarter quite often, and then this team had to rally back third and fourth quarter to close the door. So the touch and go that they had, that Arch Manning kind of had to navigate, I feel like that's why there's so much credit on this kid's name. Some key pieces that helped them get down the field no longer involved. So that surprises me with them being at number 1.
Sure.
But I mean, a great program, well coached, a lot of excitement over there. Not too surprised. Penn State surprised me just a little bit.
Really?
Because I would say in a lot of those touch and go moments, it was always going to Warren. Warren was bailing them out of so many situations, and now he's not in the playbook. So, yeah, I'm not trying to say that they're a one-dimensional team in that sense, because they still have explosion coming in their offense from Luke Reynolds and a few other guys in company. But there's just times that, like, they got stale and defenses worked them over. So bringing them in at 2 and seeing that there's still some pretty strong defenses out there in top 5, I don't know how much I love Penn State at 2.
Well, you know where I'm going. Sark and Franklin both, coach of Texas, coach of Penn State, lose big games like it's nobody's business. So I believe in Dabo, who I've seen win the big games. I am big on Clemson this season. Hey, roll with us. We're coming back. We have more. So much football in the show to make your head spin. Stay with us right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Don't go anywhere. We're partying.
I mean, I think everybody sees Travion the same way. You know, he's first of all, he's a tremendous kid, awesome individual, really hard worker, smart kid, can process a lot of information, which allows you as a coach to try to use him in the ways that he should be used. Explosive, you know, I think we all saw that the other night, and tough, physical. So I don't have many negatives to say about Trey. You know, but excited to coach him. We've had some really good players with skill sets that are somewhat like his. Maybe nobody quite as fast as, you know, Vereen was probably the fast. Him and Danny Woodhead were fast, but Travion's fast. So excited to be with him.
Woo, you know you fast when someone says he's fast. He's fast. Let's bring in Evan Lazar, who is also fast. Evan Lazar of Patriots.com. Welcome to the show, my friend. You hear Josh McDaniels there talking about Travion Henderson. Let me find out, this kid could be an all-timer with the skill set he has, Evan. What were your takeaways from watching? Look, you get once to make a first impression, right? Boy, did he make an impact in the first look with the Patriots, didn't he, Evan?
Absolutely, and he has a knack of doing this, even going back to college. I believe his first college game, he had a touchdown that was of like 70 yards as well.
Wow.
So he has something brewing here with Travion Henderson. And the one thing we've seen out at practice, whether it's against Patriots on Patriots or in the Commanders joint practice, is that linebackers just have a really tough time with Travion Henderson out of the backfield as a receiver, whether it's a wheel route or some sort of vertical route down the field. He's going to win those foot races more times than not. So it's an exciting matchup piece for Josh McDaniels.
Okay, let's stick with the running backs for a second because we're going to ask you a plethora of questions. I'm just going to be direct here. Is Ramondre Stevenson cooked? Because I think this kid's going to be the starting running back. I think he won the job in his first look with the Patriots. What say you?
Well, ball security is the biggest thing for Ramondre Stevenson, and he knows that. He comes out and he says it himself every time we talk to him that that's a big area of emphasis for him. But I think what's Ramondre's got going for him is that his skill set is very complementary to Travion Henderson. So the two of them together, kind of this thunder and lightning duo where you have one power back, one speed back. And the biggest thing with Henderson that I keep coming back to is how do you keep him healthy? Like, how do you keep him fresh? How do you keep him healthy? Because he is a smaller running back. He's, 190-ish, 195. So you don't want to run him into the ground. So the best thing you can do, Ramondre on maybe first and second down, short yardage situations, those types of things. And then Travion Henderson is your speed back or your sub back, and they kind of have a nice duo going there.
Almost like Montgomery and Gibbs-ish, right? In Detroit.
That's the goal. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I see that vision. Go ahead, Case. I see
All
it.
right. I kind of knew where Travis was going on that one, and I was going to follow up with kind of anticipated workload. So maybe let's play a game here. Say that Ramondre isn't as reliable as one hopes because ball security is job security. So from what we saw in preseason game 1, what could you anticipate Henderson's workload looking like?
Well, I think the Jahmyr Gibbs comp is obviously a ceiling comp of what he might be in the NFL, but that's really where I've been at with it. And Gibbs typically plays 45-50% of the snaps in Detroit, and you see that 1-2 punch that they have. And I think that's where the Patriots want to go with this. And in the past, that's where Josh McDaniels has gone with it. We've seen over the years of these Patriots offenses where it's, an early down guy like a LeGarrette Blount, and then it's a James White on third downs, right? And I think that they're going to try to get to a similar split there with Henderson where he's playing a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like they're going to put the rookie on the bench for an extended period of time, but they're having them situationally play certain roles. So I think if you're a fantasy person, like, that drives you nuts, right? Because you don't know which running back is going to get the bulk of the targets and the touches. But at the same time, I think that's probably what's best for the Patriots moving forward in terms of winning football games.
You know what, Laz? You just draft them both and you figure it out. That's probably why my team only won.
Who gets that lucky in fantasy
well,
football?
I only won 3 games last year.
I quit years ago, but I think much hasn't changed.
Look, we could talk running backs all day with you, but let's talk other things. Before we move on to the Vikings, what were your takeaways from that Commanders win? I mean, beat down City on Brady night. I'll ask you about the statue later, but in terms of what you saw, give me some bullet points here. Just takeaways from that big win over the Commanders.
Well, the biggest thing to me when going back to January, I actually talked to Ryan Cowden at the Senior Bowl for the first time, the Patriots #2 in the front office there behind Elliott Wolf. And I asked him, what is a Mike Vrabel player? And he said, we're going to be all about effort and finish. Those are the 2 buzzwords that they use. Okay. And that's where I would start with that game on Friday night, effort and finish. They play with great physicality. They play with great energy. You saw that DNA of the head coach rubbing off on the team. So when you start talking about identity and what Mike Vrabel is going to bring to the table, I think those are the 2 big things that stand out to me. And they actually have in their meeting room, they have a poster now on the wall that's non-negotiables, ball security, ball disruption, things like that are big with them as well. But the number one thing on that list, effort and finish. So I think that that's where this whole thing starts. Now, once I watched the tape of that game back, I will admit there was a lot more preseason football on there than the scoreboard would suggest. So it's not like it was perfect. There's a long way to go for the Patriots, but they clearly came out and played a harder, tougher brand of football than Washington did.
I think that's a great point, too, because, Kasey and I talked about this. It felt like Tom Brady's day, Tom Brady's night. So if anything, Laz, I think you had a baked-in excuse if this team didn't do what you said. If they came out kind of flat and you're like, well, it was Brady night. Let's see how they look against the Vikings. I actually thought it was more impressive that in that moment that was for TB12, the team came out, to your point, and had that sense of urgency. That's a credit to Mike Vrabel for sure.
100%. And then along the lines of identity, effort, and finish, I know that one of the things on their checklist, getting better in the red zone, getting better with converting on 3rd downs. How well did you see the execution of Josh McDaniels' offense? Because we know that it's a very intricate system to get in line with, and this was kind of the first go with the starters being out there for a couple minutes to get things going.
Yeah, it's a good question on 3rd down because they obviously start the game with a strip sack, which is not what anybody wanted to see. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest question right now that I have about their offense is passing offense in general. And it's not just one area. It's quarterback, pass protection, and receivers. Are they going to have the line that's going to hold up in pass pro? Or are they going to get receivers open down the field for Drake Maye? And is he going to be consistent and smart with the football in those key situations remains to be seen. Now, on the second drive, they get into the red zone, and you see the mobility from Drake Maye. And I just think that element of his game is going to be so dangerous for the Patriots, especially when they get down by the goal line, that you have to worry about the 11th guy on the field being the quarterback, that he can just take off and run it in and jog it into the pylon there like he did on Friday night. So the good news is I think they're going to be able to be pretty dynamic down in the red zone, especially closer, inside the 10, inside the 5, because Drake Maye can use his legs, but they got to clean up the pass protection number 1, I would say, as of right now.
Bro, I knew I liked you. I've been screaming from the mountaintops. Drake Maye is a dual threat quarterback. Like, I watched this at UNC, and I feel like since he's been here in New England, the only time we see him run is when he's running for his damn life.
Panicked.
So now you're getting designed Drake Maye runs. I want to see so much. I agree with you in the red zone, but I'm even okay, Laz, between the 20s. Like, just get this kid on the move. He is a freak athletically. Get him moving. If he's throwing on the run, if he's scrambling, maybe it's RPOs. Do you think in this Josh McDaniels offense we will see more of that dual threat Drake Maye? It sounds like you do.
I do, and it might not be always between the 20s, maybe 3rd downs in red zone. I think right now those high leverage situations, but I get into debates on our shows about this all the time with people because to me that's Drake Maye's superpower, like his ability to create on the move, whether it's throwing the ball or running the ball himself, that off platform, out of structure element that he brings to the game that's very Josh Allen-esque. If you try to reel that in and make him a designed, pocket passer, I just think that you're asking him to play left-handed. It's really limiting the skill set that he has. That's really a special skill set. So allowing him to run, allowing him to go on the move outside the pocket, out of structure, playmaking, things like that. I think you have to invite that. Like, you have to welcome that element for Drake Maye, and I do think they're going to design more runs. Josh McDaniels hinted at it yesterday when he said he had 400 something rushing yards without any designed runs. So that, to me, antennas up that McDaniels knows that this is a part of the offense that they can use a little bit more. So when you go down there in the red zone, when you're on 3rd and 2, when you can zone read or quarterback keepers and things like that, that just makes it so much more difficult for the defense, and it's another element that the defense has to plan for.
Yeah, I love that the broadcast basically said that he would be a punishing quarterback who can expose any kind of gaps out there, and that's going to be a headache for a number of defenses, so something to look forward to. You said something really important here about potentially forcing him to be a pocket passer, or basically straying away from it, which leads me to the offensive line. We saw a number of combinations for the offensive line. I refer to it as musical chairs, but where do you kind of stand on a grade scale of where this line is at? Because we've had so many different assumptions and headlines, and I know some fans like to go straight to the doom and gloom, but where do we realistically stand?
That's me.
Well, I think the question is I think they're improved. How much improved, that we'll find out in 6 weeks or so here, right? Once you start to get some regular season games under their belt. But the most important thing to me, and I wrote a piece about this morning, is that they really have 3 rookies that are emerging, and Will Campbell and Jared Wilson are going to start. But their 7th round pick Marcus Bryant might be the top backup right now at tackle, and I think all 3 of those guys are improvements from what they had last year in those specific roles. So that's a bonus. And the other thing, when just looking at the rookies on the left side, especially Campbell, which we saw in the game on Friday night with the finishing blocks in the running game, they're going to be a more dynamic run blocking team. And it's not, pass protection is going to be a work in progress. I think that's remains to be seen. It's probably one of my biggest areas of concern with the team right now. But if you can run the football and you can stay ahead of the chains consistently by running the football, then you can incorporate play action, you can move the pocket, and you can get Drake Maye into areas where he's better protected, or it's easier to protect him as a result. So the run game can really set up a lot of the passing game, and I know a lot of people want to see Drake Maye sling it and throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, but they might be better suited just personnel wise to be run first, then play action oriented, and try to keep themselves ahead of the chains that way.
Laz, we've seen this playbook before. That was Brady early in his career. Run game, defense, be clutch for us down the stretch. We'll win games, we'll win Super Bowls. And then as Brady became Brady, they opened it up and he was throwing the ball all over the place. So we've seen this before. Let me ask you about Will Campbell, though, because I have a hot take. He looked really good against the Commanders. But my guess is this dude is a stopgap left tackle this season. Okay, stay with me, Laz. I think he's a stopgap. I think they draft a true left tackle. Then they kick Will Campbell to left guard, where he'll probably be an all-pro for the next decade, okay? I think that's really who he is. That hot take, am I a hater, or could you kind of see that vision?
No, you're not a hater because you're not alone, right? There's
Right.
a lot of people that feel the same way going into the draft with Will Campbell. But to me, the question with Will Campbell is, can they get the pass protection to a high enough level that he can stay at left tackle? Because that's the goal. It's a much more high value position. It's better for the team if he can stick at left tackle. So that's the ultimate goal there. But the run blocking element of his game, I don't want it to go unnoticed. He is a dynamic run blocker. He is somebody that can be a true centerpiece of your run game, and you can design runs running behind him like we saw on Friday night with those toss plays to Travion Henderson, where he is the key cog in getting that run started and down the field. And his nastiness, his play demeanor, it all translates, and it sets a tone, physicality tone, like we were talking about earlier, for the entire offensive line. So I really have enjoyed watching Will Campbell run block even in practice. he does the same type of thing in practice where he's just moving bodies and being nasty and just being difficult to play against. Now, maybe the pass protection doesn't catch up enough for him to stick at tackle long term, but I'm still optimistic that he's going to be able to do it. He just has to learn how to play tackle with his dimensions at this level. He's not going to be able to do the same things that he did in college. He's going to have to adjust to the fact that he's going up against longer, more explosive players that might give his length and his lack of width, body width, a little bit more challenges than what he saw in the SEC.
It just sounds like a guard to me, Laz. Like, it just sounds like a guard, bro. Like, I mean, like, he's got to adjust his whole game because of his dimensions. That's a guard, bro.
I hear you. It's definitely something that has popped up, and I think the main thing that you see with him is the speed off the edge. He's got the length he's got to go out there and reach those guys. Right. And when he overextends, then they beat him to the inside. So it's kind of like a two-way street there, where he's got to find that exact balance of how do I protect the corner, but how do I also not get over exaggerated there and open up the inside. So that's been the balancing act for him. But I do think that his hands and his anchor are good enough that he's able to hold up at tackle, at least for his rookie season. And let's see what it looks like after 17 weeks.
We'll need him to hold up. You guys both mentioned pass protection and how far that needs to come along. That just makes me think of this wide receiving room. To some, they think that it's pretty loaded. To others, they're hoping that, I don't know, you pick up a frustrated wide receiver or two out there. But let's talk about Chisholm for a second, because I feel like he made a case for himself. But also, you mentioned when you look back at this game, it very much is a preseason game. So how much hype did we see and how much reality did we see of him potentially making a roster?
Yeah, I think the biggest play that stood out to me with Chisholm was a 3rd and 2 play with Josh Dobbs, where he just broke into a little soft spot in the zone, sat down right over the sticks, and Josh Dobbs hit him. And it just kind of is one of those plays in this McDaniels offense that we've seen for decades, right? Whether it was going all the way back to Troy Brown to Julian Edelman, right? You just see that little quick hitter over the middle and that ability to move the chain. So Dobbs said it yesterday when we spoke to him. All the coaches say the same thing. Chisholm is just a great fit in this offense, and we all knew that coming in based off his college game. He fits the suit of that McDaniels slot receiver. So I've been wary of saying that it's going to be his rookie year that he's going to make an impact. Maybe he is more on that Edelman trajectory where it takes a few years for him to really round out his game and learn the position and all that kind of stuff. But between him and Pop Douglas, I do think you're going to see that slot element back into this offense at a high volume. And both those guys have looked really good in that role so far in camp. So I'm excited about Douglas the most, but I think Chisholm is somebody that maybe if you put him on that Edelman developmental track, that he could be a factor here down the road.
All right, bro, look, I know you're the alpha and the omega at Patriots.com, but it's just me, you, and Casey talking here, and our Boston has entered the chat family, so you could keep it real here. I'm going to ask you flat out, your thoughts on the Tom Brady statue, because I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was safe what they did. It was smart. They didn't overdo it. They didn't get too cute with details, because that's how you blow it. They just gave you a solid statue. This is clearly TB12. He's got a generic pose. There it is. It's larger than life. Perfect. I thought it was great. Casey said it was boring. What say you, my friend? You're the final verdict.
Before he gives you your moment, this is a safe place.
It's a safe place.
He loaded up there to almost direct your thoughts and answer. Just know that there's no bullying here.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let me ask you this question before I answer. Have you guys seen it in person yet?
I have not.
No.
So I'm telling you, it's better in person than what it photographs, and it photographs well.
Okay.
But it's even better in person, I would say. And I think the biggest thing to me that stands out is that, well, first of all, box one checked. It looks like him, which is the most important thing.
Check.
Right. So that one is the most important. And I will admit, I was a little bit skeptical of the pose. Like, I was worried about the pose. I was like, it's not an iconic Brady pose. I'm not sure.
It's generic.
With all that stuff.
Boring.
But when you see it, and he's every bit of 17 feet tall.
Great.
So when you see it and you're like right in front of it and it looks like him and he's got that powerful fist in the air, it's iconic. Like it really like, captures the moment. I
Thank
think
you.
of his aura, and his essence of just being larger than life. It absolutely does do that, and I think that that's maybe a little bit different than like seeing it in a picture, because it's not towering over you in a picture, so you can't really get that feel for it.
Right.
And I would also just say the detail on this thing, I didn't even know like some of these details were possible in terms of like the artist just did an awesome job with like his pads and all the little different intricacies on the statue are just really cool to see. And then the base is really cool as well. The 6-sided base is very cool too. So once I got up close to it and sort of took a few minutes to like walk around it and see all the different little details, I was really impressed with that as well.
Bro, I told Kasey, I said, listen, go ask Ronaldo
You didn't say it as
and
well as
Dwayne
Evan
Wade.
just did. You didn't say it as well.
Go ask other athletes how they feel about their statue. Brady can be proud of his. Laz is with me. I told you, Case.
I'll take a glance August 23rd, but thank you for at least laying that out better than it's smart. It's smart. That's all I got from Travis. They did a smart go on.
It was safe, right? Hey, Evan Lazar, Patriots.com.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. We're going to have you back. We're waking you up early again. We like you. We're bringing you back on the show, man. We appreciate you. Coming up here on Boston Has Entered the Chat, more football, more football, more football. We're ranking QBs next. Keep it here. You know you want to. Boston Has Entered the Chat. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. We're talking QBs. QB1. Hey, The Athletic did an NFL QB tier list for the upcoming season. If you had to take a guess where Drake Maye was on this list, I'm holding it here, where would you think? Tier 1, you know the names, right? I mean, we already know. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, we get it. Lamar, Matt Stafford. Tier 2. Would you think Drake's in here? Let me give you the names. Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff. A lot of guys he's compared to in this. C.J. Stroud, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Dak, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy. No, you heard right. No Drake Maye. Okay. Tier 3, though, he did land there at number 22 overall. That feels a little low to me for Drake Maye, but it was his rookie season. Let's remember that. He did have a coaching staff that could not walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. He had the worst offensive line ever in the history of anything ever. He had 0 weapons to speak of. Shout outs to Pop Douglas. I do like him, but that was his guy. Like, I mean, to be fair, I kind of do get these rankings a little bit. And there's obviously, Kasey, room to grow for Drake Maye.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump off the page here and say, like, he wasn't trusted with the starting position out the gate, even though he had a pretty quality preseason. So if you look at, games played in comparison, sitting at 22 isn't devastating.
Yeah.
Then let's walk it out to another bird's eye view. The turnovers as a rookie, the fact that we saw a lot of panic out of him, not his fault, but still played into everything. Exactly. So I think 22 makes sense. There's other things that I'm a little problematic with on this list.
Oh, like what? Let's get into it. I like problematic.
Number 7 in tier 2. Justin Herbert. How do you come in behind Jaden Daniels, considering that your sophomore season in the NFL, you made 5,000 plus passing yards look easy? And no, health has not been on his side, and it hasn't been on the side of his weapons, and he has still been so consistent in so many ways, overcoming adversity over adversity over adversity. Jaden Daniels is going into his sophomore season. How do you put Herbert behind Daniels?
Okay, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
However.
No.
Look, you're not wrong because you're thinking total body of work, but Jaden Daniels has only been here 5 minutes, so he doesn't have a larger sample size.
If we compare 5 minutes to 5 minutes, who was stronger in 5 minutes?
And, well, that's where I'm going. I actually think Jaden Daniels historically had the greatest rookie season we've seen. So, what are you supposed to do? You can't. You're not wrong. Justin Herbert's resume is back. You're talking about his resume. He's been in playoffs. There's a lot of things. Jaden Daniels, in a rookie year, did a lot of stuff a lot of cats haven't done in their careers.
I was a big fan of it.
I kind of get you there. Look, I'll be honest. There's more things here. Mahomes and Burrow tied for one's kind of sketch. I guess Burrow has beat Mahomes in the playoffs before, but all those rings falling out of Mahomes' pocket. Matthew Stafford, tier 1 at number 5, over a Justin Herbert, over a Jaden Daniels, a Jalen Hurts even.
Yeah.
Josh Allen above Lamar. I know he won the MVP, but is Josh Allen better than Lamar? Are we ready to have that real combo? there were some other things here debatable.
Totally.
I don't hate your Herbert idea, though. Like, you're not wrong. I just think you're not projecting what Jaden Daniels could be based on one season.
I could, but then we got to take it back to the potential conversation that we had previously. How much do you stress potential when you're doing a ranking versus what's already been proven? So outstanding rookie campaign. I was losing it for Daniels all season long. All credit where credit is due. But I mean, you got to consider what Herbert has been through with the Chargers, between the changeovers, between your weapons never being healthy, between you not being healthy. Has he had anything below 3,100 passing yards in a season, even when he can barely show up himself? I think that that's just very telling, you know? And now coming into a new system, I feel like we can see some exciting things ahead for him. I mean, probably not as pass heavy because we know that Harbaugh is going to make sure that it makes sense and have a balanced attack there for him, but I don't know. Well, I felt some type of way for the guy.
No, I get it. Even with Herbert, let's stay on him for a second. I actually see a comp here with Drake Maye, and not just like what we heard on draft night, like, oh, big, strong arm. No, I mean literally in how you build around them. For example, stay with me. So Harbaugh comes in, wants to run the ball, better defense. I'm asking less of Justin Herbert. I need him to be more efficient. Let's use that word.
Yes.
I think Vrabel, let's run the ball.
Yep.
Let's play better defense.
Yep.
Let's ask less of our young quarterback and keep him alive, not running for his life. And, like, I think we could see an efficient Drake Maye. Does that make sense? I think Herbert and Maye in that way are kind of being
100%.
built around in a similar
Love that
way.
comparison, too, because what does this also do? It potentially protects health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It keeps your quarterback in a lot more.
Right.
So I actually do like that comparison. Somewhere else where I needed your opinion, though.
Where?
When we're talking about dual threat QBs, you're talking about a C.J. Stroud. I was high on his rookie campaign.
I love him.
Tied with a Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I had mixed emotions here.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I think C.J. Stroud's a better player, but this damn Jalen Hurts, man, I've never seen anything like him in my life. He's, even going back to college, like, he just doesn't do things that you want from a quarterback, but you know what he does over and over again? He wins. I can't quantify him. There's no list. You can put him 1 on this list, and what can I say? I can't figure out Jalen Hurts. I can't, and I'm done trying to do it. He's going to win more rings. He might win another one this year. He might. I can't figure him out.
We'll see. Love to know everyone else's thoughts about where Drake Maye stands.
Yeah. All right, that's it for us here on Nesson, but the party continues on Nesson Nation, 8 a.m. on Nesson, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation, Monday through Friday. The party continues. Come with us on Boston has entered the chat.